Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. First, let me get a shout out to Atlanta Black Star for this article. Now, this reminds you of Carolyn Bryant, Emmett Till situation. Okay, so, but it's not just one black man, but it's two. So it says that audio and video save your life. Black man accused of raping white neighbor used home surveillance cam to beat charges is now suing her and police for false arrest. So it says a black man has filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city of Manville, Texas, and its police officers claiming that he was falsely arrested for SA, his white neighbor, during a gathering to celebrate his new home. According to the complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas this week on November 9, 2023, Manville resident John Marks, 40, and his friend Freddie Douglas Jr., 43, had consensual sex in Mark's pool with Amanda. I can't pronounce it. It's kind of Eastern Europe. But I'm just going to say Zawarzinski, a woman who lived nearby with whom Marks said he had carried on an intimate relationship with for several months. She is also named in the lawsuit. So, ladies and gentlemen, what it's been saying is that, two black men, ages John Marks and Freddie Douglas Jr., both had consensual sex with the woman. So now she claiming grape. She was claiming grape to both of them, and they arrested these two men for something that's consensual and not been forced to. But I'm going to read this article in a second because this is getting even more ridiculous. Because without the audio and the video evidence, I'm telling you right now, they would have been in serious trouble. So it says Zawinski filed a police report a week later claiming she was held against her will with both men graping her, attempted to grape her over a 7-hour time period that night and into the next morning, reported the El Campo Leaders News. A court affidavit stated that all three had been drinking and that the assault and then the SA took place with the woman saying no and having to physically fight Douglas off of her. So let me ask this question. If she filed a police report, why you waited a week later to do it? If there was, any SA going down. If you were grape, as you say you are, you could have filed a report the next day or the same night, not a week later, which is kind of really, suspicious. But I'm going to show it to you. And one of the guys that's, it was in the complaint was a police officer, a police detective, actually. And that's why I don't understand about the story, because if you were grape or if you were SA, you couldn't wait till a week to file. You could have go ahead and do it that same night or the next morning. And that's what they were saying. Like it's crazy on how the story is. So we're going to continue this article in a second. It's really crazy of how this white woman, accusing these two of grape, but you waited till a week to even press charges. All right, so let's continue this article. But I was going to let you know this. So here we go. So John Marks, who's on the left, and this is the white woman, Amanda, with the suspicion or with the crazy last name on the right. So it continues to say is Marks was arrested on December 7, 2023 and charged with aggravated SA and aggravated kidnapping felonies that can result in prison sentences from 5 to 99 years. Douglas was also arrested and fired from his job, and that's the other guy, as a police detective in El Campo. Both men were jailed and released on bond, protesting their innocence. So on March 23rd, a grand jury from Brazoria County reviewed the evidence presented against them by the district attorney and issued no bill verdict. No bill verdict declining to indict either man. And I'm glad they did that because and again, this could have been an Emmett Till situation. Not just one black man, but two. Because either way, in other words, they did a threesome. And they're claiming that all three of them were drunk. They did a threesome. And all of a sudden, one thing led to another. And then all of a sudden, a woman was like, oh, you grape me. You SA me, right? But this is what's so suspicious about this, ladies and gentlemen. Why you waited a week later to file charges against both men? If you felt like if you're grape or SA, you would have filed charges that night. You would have called the police that night or filed charges in the morning. It's crazy how this thing is, but it continued and says basically in a lawsuit filed on August 21st, Marks contends that Manville police arrested him solely on the account of Zelensky without properly investigating. If they had, he argues, police would have seen surveillance footages from cameras in and around his home that clearly exonerated him. So, and again, it continues, says, according to the complaint, the camera captured Zelensky arriving that evening with cupcakes and entering the home with no signs of distress or hesitation. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what? And I think that the video and the audio evidence saved both men. So if she was grape or SA, and then you caught this white woman with cupcakes entering the guy's home with no sign of distress or hesitant, that means that there was no grape or SA involved. So basically, she's trying to do a Carolyn Bryant on both of these men. And like I said, that's what saved both of these guys' lives. And without the video, if it wasn't for the video and the audio, they would have, I'm telling you right now, they would have put the book on both of them, possibly for years or possibly for life. It's going to get even crazier in a second, but I'm going to let you know that, they saved their own lives because of video and audio evidence, and I'm glad that they did that. So it continues to say, it continues like, according to the complaint, the camera captured Zelensky arriving that evening with cupcakes and entering the home with no sign of distress or hesitation, looking relaxed and engaging in friendly conversation. She later undressed and willingly, here's the word, willingly, not forced, willingly joined the men in the pool and appeared to be enjoying herself, engaging in consensual sexual activity with John Marks and later with Freddie Douglas, with no signs of resistance or discomfort. The camera shows Zelensky move freely throughout the house with multiple opportunities to leave if she had felt threatened or uncomfortable, including at one point when she was alone in the house while Marks and Douglas were outside in the pool, the complaint says. Marks said to the former officer Tanner Truitt and Police Chief Thomas Traylor of the existence of surveillance footage that contradicted Zelensky's allegations, but the officers failed to review the footage or to include it in their report to a judge when seeking a warrant for his arrest. Their conduct was driven by a desire to secure a conviction at any cost rather than a commitment to uncovering the truth, the complaint stated. Marks also contends that the police used excessive force during his arrest, and then he held him in a cold, uncomfortable cell for several hours before transferring him to the Brazoria County Jail. During this time, he was denied access to legal counsel and information about the charges against him. Ladies and gentlemen, she was trying to set both of these men up, acting like I'm a victim. I've been SA, I've been raped by these two men, And these officers was about to put a book on them, even though both men claimed their innocence. And this is getting worse. So I'm going ahead and it says that his lawsuit further argues that his treatment in custody was part of the broader pattern of systematic abuse by the Manville Police Department, which routinely violate the rights of those it detained. The case is not an isolated incident, but reflects a time-worn pattern reminiscent of the injustice depicted in To Kill a Mockingbird, where black men were falsely accused of sexual crimes by white women, and the machinery of law enforcement is all too willing to proceed without question, the complaint says. The arrest and grape charges against Marks garnered significant media attention that was overwhelmingly negative, portraying John as a dangerous criminal, which led neighbors, colleagues, and friends to distance themselves from Marks and caused irreparable damage to his personal and professional reputation, he claims. His complaint charges of the city of Manville with federal civil rights violations, including failure to properly investigate, serious allegations, depriving Marks of his rights to be free from unlawful search seizures and false imprisonment, excessive use of force, and failure to adequately train, supervise, and discipline its officers. So the Manville Police Department was involved in a conspiracy, basically thinking that, that these two black men did this, and they know that they didn't do it, but they want to cover it up. They want to cover up that allegedly they did do it, which they really didn't. And they know they didn't because they saw the video and the audio evidence. But ladies and gentlemen, it shows you that these officers wanted to get these guys convicted, wanted to get these guys in jail over something that they didn't even do, right? And they didn't even admit it. So it says that the complaint also specifies alleged misconduct by 3 police officers. It claims that Truitt made false and misleading statements to the Justice of the Peace, Richard B. Davis, and omitted material information that, if disclosed, would have prevented the issuance of the arrest warrant. The police chief Traylor, who participated in and witnessed the arrest of Marks, knew or was recklessly indifferent to the fact that Officer Truitt made false and misleading statements in a sworn complaint. Officer Ruiz conducted the unwanted search of Mark's vehicle and home without probable cause or reasonably suspicion in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Ruiz used excessive force despite no resistance during the arrest. Mark alleges and later tampered with Mark's security camera by altering settings from 180 days to 60 days, an action aimed and destroy explanatory evidence and obstruction of justice. So, ladies and gentlemen, it shows you that these police officers want to ruin both men. They're trying to destroy their careers. They're trying to destroy their lives, and that's what I'm saying. I'm glad they're suing the police department as well as the woman, because these police department, this is what I'm saying, they conspire in obstructing justice against these men. And they need to be, and the police department need to be investigated. The feds need to investigate them. Because again, they know that these men didn't rape this woman or SA this woman, but yet they continue that they did rape her. And that right there is a crime. You can't just basically, continue to think that they really did it, but realistically they didn't do it. But I'm feeling that this police department, this incident ain't the only incident that happened. So it says that Traylor, the Manville Police Department for Brazoria County, District Attorney Tom Selleck, all declined the request from Atlanta Black Star to comment on the criminal proceedings and the civil lawsuit. Why? Because you want to say further embarrassment of what these officers did to these men? It says Marks further charges went through a malicious prosecution for false reporting to the police that she had been raped and kidnapped by him, which led to his arrest and prosecution and caused him mental anguish and damage to his personal and professional reputation. After the grand jury, which had reviewed the surveillance video, declined to indict Mark and Douglas in March, The two men appeared at a press conference with civil rights activists who denounced the Manville police for racist and corrupt practices, and Zawerinsky for allegedly make false claim of grape. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that this police department, even though these two men one of them were a police detective, you want to destroy their careers and their lives over allegations, over stuff that didn't even happen. And they know it didn't happen, but you see, one of the police officers was trying to destroy evidence. That's tampering evidence. You can't just, and you knew that they they want to get these two men for her. But then by doing this, it's going to make the department look bad. And I'm glad that these two black men is filing a lawsuit against this police department, because at the end of the day, you already said that they're innocent, it was consensual, and then this woman brought cupcakes is proving their point. So it says, and this one of the lawyers is saying, it says from 2024 back to the, okay, I guess I accidentally raised it up. Okay, it says, Mark seek a jury trial and all available relief from the court against all the defendants for alleged constitutional violations, including compensatory, punitive, and exhibitory damages for lost wages, diminished earning capacity, medical expenses, including psychological counseling and therapy, loss of professional opportunities and standing in the community, and social ostracism, and damage to personal relationships. So, and again, like, this police department conspired and obstructing justice from two innocent black men. And the white woman who was involved in this charade in the first place should have been charged of lying and also basically involved in destroying the evidence of that lie. This could have been an Emmett Till situation for both black men. And they would have thrown a book at those both black men. If it wasn't for the video evidence and the audio evidence, clear these two men, oh, they would have been done. They would have been probably in prison for life, according to Texas law. So it's these two men, these two men saved their own lives, in other words. They dodged the bullet. Let's just put it like that. They really dodged the bullet because these officers did not like it, and that's the end of the article. These officers did not like, them anyway. This is personal to them. They want to throw a book at these two men, these two black men, over a white woman that she's not really worth their time. And they didn't pursue her, she pursuing them. It's a difference. She is pursuing them. She tried to get at them. And you notice that she wasn't forced. She could leave whenever they want to, And she the one went to their home. She the one brought cupcakes to their home. You could tell she's interested in these two men. She can tell she's interested in this menage a trois, in other words, or threesome. But now, and I knew for a fact that she wasn't grape or SA, because if a grape or SA victim felt like they was, a victim of assault or anything like that, they wouldn't wait a week to file charges. They would do it either that night or the next day. They wouldn't wait. They wouldn't even wait until 1 week to file criminal charges of grape or SA. It wouldn't have happened. And so when I knew that these when I knew that these two black men, that I mean, they dodged a bullet in this right here, because that could have been, oh, they would have been throwing a book, throwing life imprisonment for grape or SA. In Texas law, they would throw a book at them. And then also, when you're dealing with a corrupt police department, that's make things worse, because they knew these two men were innocent. The only thing is that they didn't care if they were innocent. They really want to throw a book at them because they can, and they will. And so here's the thing too. A woman, I mean, the thing of it is, that she was willingly to go see these guys and want to get with these guys. She was willingly. She wasn't being forced. They wouldn't force her to get out, force her to leave, and anything like that. But what's making this story interesting is that you dealing with not one black man, but two. And one of them were a detective in a police department, the same police department that's trying to corrupt him, want to destroy his career and his pension and everything else. And see, now you see when in this incident, ladies and gentlemen, isn't the only incident that happened in this country. It happens a lot. When you falsely accusing a black man of a grape or SA, most black men will serve prison term as long as football sign deals of something they didn't even do. One of them that lost his career over grape, over being accused of grape, and turned out that he was innocent all along, and they let him go. This situation, it's like this is like the Carolyn Bryant, Emmett Till situation. And it's dealing with two black men, not just one. But again, if it wasn't for video and audio evidence clearing both of them, you will never see these men again. They will be in prison for the rest of their lives. That's crazy. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments.